It's a fennec mother. Meow! Hey y'all, Fear the Kitten here. Welcome back to another entry of Is This Viable? This is a series we'll be reviewing and grading each weapon in Warzone to see if it's viable or not. There's a link for every build down in the description, as well as a link to my Twitch. I live stream Tuesday through Friday, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Go grab a cold one. Come hang out. It's always a good time. In the meantime, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and turn the notifications on. This is an ongoing series. Lots of content coming your way. Anyways, let's do this. Alright, here we go. The SA87. Anybody with an avid eye from the Battlefield series or the Stalker franchise will know this weapon is actually part of the SA80 British Bullpup rifle series. It's very similar to L85. This is actually very similar to a L86, which is the light support weapon variant. Though Call of Duty classifies it as a light machine gun, it's actually a modular assault rifle, and a lot of its base stats are similar to an assault rifle with the exception of damage. This is a pretty damaging weapon. It's got great range for a bullpup, and with a few attachments, this will be a contender for the automatic long range category. Alright, so let's look at the base stats of the SA87. Fire rate 600 RPM, which is on the slower side. ADS speed of 413 milliseconds, which again is suboptimal for the AR class, but standard or on par for the light machine gun class. Sprint to fire time of 263, again is subpar AR, but pretty good for light machine gun class. Tactical sprint to fire time of 392 milliseconds is pretty standard for most weapons in Warzone outside of submachine guns. Base movement speed of 4.53 meters a second. It's actually not too bad, again, for light machine gun. And the ADS movement speed of 1.95 milliseconds is actually pretty good for a light machine gun. And again, it's very similar to assault rifles. Of course, down in hip fire, 25 square pixel is kind of less to be desired with, but again, the light machine guns, you're not going to hip fire them. The bullet velocity is pretty good at 840 meters a second, and the reload time is pretty comparable to assault rifles, just a little bit slower, but again, it's better than most of the light machine guns. A mag size of 30 obviously makes this weapon, again, look like an assault rifle. Alright, so the SA87, again, is a light machine gun, but it fulfills a pretty badass role for the long range competition. Obviously, we have the FNFAL and the Odin, which is the highest damaging long range weapons in the game, but they're also the highest skill requirement or highest skill ceiling to use them. The next contenders are the Grau, which is the easiest, that kind of Kilo, which is the probably just up there with the Grau, then of course the Krig 6 from Cold War. Where the Krig 6 is like medium to long, the Grau was basically long with a very slow TTK, same thing with the Kilo. The S87 kind of fills this role of definitely medium to very long range combat, coupled with the light machine gun damage profile. The TTK is very fast on this weapon, and the nice thing is because the rate of fire is pretty slow for long range, this means your practical TTK will be very close to the mathematical TTK. Now, I was hounding this weapon near the end of Season 2, right before the Season 3 rebalance patch, that it's kind of this forgotten weapon because it sits as a light machine gun. It's an assault rifle. All day long, it's an assault rifle. But this is a very easy to use weapon, and it's also very modular. You have a couple of customization options you can use to benefit your playstyle. Check it out. 87 is a highly customizable weapon. We're going to focus on the optimal long range build. Now, this is a 4 attachment build, which means we have 1 free attachment, which we could use to further customize the weapon based on our need. But we'll focus on the optimal build first, which will start with the core attachment, the barrel. 25.4 inch barrel, increased damage range, bullet velocity, recoil control. Down to ammo. The game says it reduces your ADS speed. It does not. The only thing that changes is your movement speed, and it's so marginal, you might as well go with a 60 round mag and be done with it. And of course, the optic, long range build means we need a better optic. I'm going to go with the VLK 3.0, but again, your preference. I think Iron Sight's a little difficult on this weapon, but again, with a trained eye, you might not need the optic and get an extra attachment. The next core is going to be the laser. The tac laser will give us the biggest reduction of ADS speed, or the biggest increase for ADS speed. And that's our core. 1, 2, 3, 4. We do have one more attachment. Again, for this build, to help out in the mid-range category, make sure we stay competitive and when we're a little caught off guard, we're gonna go ahead and put on the Forge Tac CQB comb. This will reduce the ADS by another 50 milliseconds, which is actually pretty huge. Let's put the weapon in line with the rest of the assault rifles. So column C, this is going to be the adjusted stats based on the attachment we just selected. Again, fire rate stays the same. Range modifier increased slightly. ADS speed is down to 362, which is more in line to some of the assault rifles. Sprint to fire and tactical sprint to fire did not change. Movement speed, marginally slower. ADS movement speed, marginally slower. But we do gain a little bit of recoil control, which is going to help with this weapon for vertical and horizontal. Hipfire, again, just got worse, doesn't matter. But look at that bullet velocity. 1,058 meters a second. This weapon's going to feel like hit scan. That's pretty fast. I think some of the sniper rifles in the game are right around that 1,200 mark. So these bullets are going to move very quickly. Reload time didn't change at 3.35 seconds. And of course, we have a 60 round mag to boot. What's the time to kill on the SA87? So all the way out to about 57 meters, you're looking at about a 624 millisecond time to kill, which is very fast for a long range weapon. All the way out to about 80 meters, you'll average right around that 720 to 800 milliseconds, which again is very fast. So outside of the FNFL and the Odin, this is the fastest killing long range weapon in the game. The Grau sits right around 900. The Kilo sits right around that 920, and then the Krig 6, which is a little bit better in mid-range, goes all the way up to about a .750. So the SA87 is going to kill about 33% faster than most of the long-range weapons in the game. And again, coupled with the fact that you already get some recoil control, you don't need to waste an attachment on like a Commando foregrip. Now again, the weapon has one free attachment, so you could change out that sport comb for fully loaded, which will give you a mid to long range option that comes with all the ammo you ever wanted. Or you could drop it, of course, for Commando foregrip if you think the recoil is a little rough, maybe if you're on console. You could also exchange it for the monolithic suppressor, increase that damage further out, but again, you're going to start losing that mid-range combat. So when it comes to weapon pairing, the SA87 is really going to cover you from about 20 meters all the way up to 80 meters. And again, the practical time to kill is that 40 to 60. Once you kind of get beyond 60, it's very difficult. I don't care who you are. It's very difficult to effectively engage people unless you're using a sniper rifle. But this does give you a huge advantage against some of the longer range weapons. If someone starts challenging you with a Grau, you can answer back very easily with this weapon. So one of our biggest pros is going to be that the weapon is one of the fastest time to kills for an automatic weapon. 2, it's very easy to use. It's a very low skill ceiling weapon. And 3, it's also customizable. You have a free attachment that you can change for your playstyle. Now, a few of the cons of this weapon, which there's not many, is it's still not as fast as most of your other assault rifles, but again, we're focusing to mid to long range combat. So hopefully you're packing an MP5, an AS-Val, FFAR, AK-47 Cold War. That's going to fill in that whole CQC gap to short range, or even that short to mid range. And because it's a light machine gun, it's using AR, means you might use a double AR, which is going to kind of suck when it comes to ammo conservation. But obviously this weapon was destined to be paired with a submachine gun, so if that's your thing, you have a dream. But check out the SA87. You're gonna thank me for it. But is the weapon viable? It absolutely is viable as a long range option, coupled with a mid-range kind of backup plan for mid-range combat. If you're walking around downtown with an SA87 in your hand and someone ambushes you, you probably have a really good fighting chance versus using the Grau, where the time to kill is just not there in that short to mid-range combat.